And I have the wonderful, the most impressive iiTzTimmy here from NRG. And it's a little bit of a special moment and also a tiny bit of a sad moment for us here at the ALGS. Now, Timmy, obviously you announced that this will be your last time competing in the ALGS. What would be your most proud moment that you've had so far in the ALGS?
I would say for me, I think LCQ, going through that entire full qualifier and being able to win that and qualify for my very first tournament was honestly a really special, moment for me. Honestly, it's just unbelievable to be able to actually win out of everything, all the qualifiers. And I would say also Japan Champs was a really special tournament for me. I would say those two are definitely my top moments.
Yeah, I mean, you rose through the ranks and we know exactly why you are here. And of course, going into today's matches, along with the rest of the competition, what's the mindset you've got?
Honestly, I just want to give it my all. It's my very last tournament. It would be amazing to go out with a bang and, win the entire thing. So I'm going to do my absolute best to just grind and, do everything I possibly can to just get first place here. And yeah, it's going to be a great time.
I mean, some of that prize money is pretty good too. You want to try your best, but getting that extra prize money will be great here at the EWC 2025. And now, can you maybe drop something a little bit spicy before signing off in the ALGS?
Ooh, I would say NA on top. NA's always been on top. Definitely the best region. If you disagree, it's all good. But
you're talking to an APAC South girl, okay? But that's fine. I can take NA. That's totally fine.
Yeah, NA on top.
iiTzTimmy, I mean, we are so beyond proud of you and all your journey that you've had so far. Of course, we're going to miss you, but we're super excited to see what you can do in your content creation world. But guys, this has been iiTzTimmy signing off for the last ALGS here at the EWC 2025.
A lot of these players already expecting the Watson to come out for this first game on World's Edge. Crypto being a direct counter. Would it be shamed if all these fences just go to waste with one EMP to try to take some space here with more teams now already making their rotate after getting the scan on the survey?
Yeah, the nice thing is here for Alliance is that they do have the ring console. They're hitting it right now, and they're going to know that they need to start getting into position. RRX are flying in. We've got Shopify Rebellion making their way from survey camp as well. But Alliance are still working on the trials right now. And so they're not going to have the same kind of priority to take whatever building they want. They are regrouped around the market side as RRX have fully taken the diner on the southeast side. The nice thing as well for a lot of these teams is that they'll have the crypto available to them. They'll be able to hit the man scans and they'll know where teams are rotating in from and how much pressure that they might face.
I wouldn't be surprised if Alliance just hold that trial side because you know that the edge of that zone, oh yeah, they're going to be on the high ground here. Great position here already because there's also that Evil Harvester that's to the north side of the marketplace that you were mentioning, and another Evil Harvester on the outskirts on the other side of the tracks once you go from the north side of Lava Fisher. So this is a good rotate spot too for Alliance because they'll know if that next zone pulls over to the south side, they'll try to go to the least contested route over to the south side closer to that Lava Fisher rotate.
Yeah, Shopify Rebellion take place center zone of Skyhook on top of that main tower. Really strong position, extremely early on.
Okay.
You do have to be careful with the altars in play. You can see Unlimit trying to go for that spleef. Will not be able to abduct anyone off of Shopify Rebellion, but here comes another one. And I love this. They were scouting it out with the crypto the whole time. So now Oki is able to secure them that kill.
Dude, they heard the crypto. We're already choosing violence. We've literally, round just started closing. It's been a few seconds. We're already choosing violence. Unlimit being one of the teams to land in Skyhook East, neighboring that of Alliance, have found a space in the middle. And like you said, with the crypto being right above them, they got that kidnapped.
One thing to note was that he looted an evac tower. So you have to imagine, one of the other two players will have a respawn beacon to plop down. I don't know if they'll be able to recover the body, but yeah, we'll see in just a moment. So many teams have moved their way on up here. You can see NRG, Timmy is in position, Fusion, Twisted Minds, all surrounding RRX.
It's going to be a lot of teams in this final zone. We know with these Skyhook zones, usually, even if a lot of these teams are banking on it going north and not pulling to the south, It's a lot of buildings to coexist. It's kind of that little sprinkle on top when you see iiTzTict. It's what to expect here with a lot of these teams having more of the space to share more of these buildings here too.
Now, while we do have about 12 of our teams currently inside of Skyhook, we still have 8 late rotators coming in a little bit slower, and some of them, like VP, Rock Esports, might opt to just kind of play on the outskirts, wait for that third ring scan to make a better decision. Again, while this is fully indicating it's going over to Skyhook, and everyone, 12 teams, currently baking it on it being Skyhook, there's still a shot that this goes that countdown, or maybe goes towards that western edge. That's the thing about Skyhook. There are so many different zones here that you do kind of want to leave yourself with the option to respond to the northern pole, the eastern pole, or the southern pole.
Live from Riyadh, I love the crowd, the energy once they see the cameras on them. Starting things off great in game number 1. Go next, taking some shots with this bow check here. But a lot of teams that have already gone for these quicker rotates, unlike the teams that we see taking their time, are going to be denied the opportunity to get more of these Evo charged, really just having to poke pressure their way and boosting up those Evos instead.
Yeah, that was Zach getting knocked. Slayer is next. They are inside of a building, though. No one really wants to try and commit to anything here. Despite all the altars that we have and the range on her ultimate, you just don't want to be that one team that cascades into a big third, fourth, fifth party. You know that being in position here in Skyhook means you should be able to at least convert into the top 10, so you're not going to get overly aggressive off of this.
Seeing with how many altars too are in this lobby, you know that a lot of these teams are literally going to try to kidnap one another, try to infiltrate these buildings. It's going to get messy here. But first, it's the calm before the storm. SBI did see that somebody had got a knock from SBI earlier on in the game. Looks like they were able to get the res here too, as they now move in. Team Liquid on the outskirts by Thermal Station, who do have a ring console and that survey beacon. They were also able to get some early KP going into this game.
Yeah, that was a knock. SBI, I believe, got a knock and the thirst onto a Team Liquid member. Got him back on in, though, because, again, these outskirt fights aren't really going to respond to much, especially with how much of a gap there was between Team Liquid and SBI. That part, I think they just found a straggler on the end there, as this zone does close. Teams are still moving in. We've got Crazy Raccoon on the northern side, Team Liquid regrouping here at staging. I believe Evos moving their way over towards Fragment. So now we're down to about 15 teams inside of Skyhook proper, with about 5 teams still working their way on it.
JDG being one of them, as they're going to take the jump tower. Finding some space here over by Countdown, where there is an Evo Harvester too. They could try to go in from that northern side. Looks like they took their time to scan the ring console. That is in Lava Fisher, so great timing on planning out their pathing, because they could wait here and Countdown knowing that it's still going to shift slightly over to that southern choke, where it's going to be chaos once these teams figure that out, and they know they're going to have to move out of these buildings outside of Skyhook.
Yeah, they got the full confirmation with that ring console scan. You can see just a little bit there on the south of Countdown being in. But that would be an extremely hard pull. You're looking at like a 95 to 5% difference, right? Or maybe even less for it to pull on over to Countdown. And so that's why they go for that evac tower. They go on in. They hit the man scan as well to know which buildings were open. So that's what we're working with here. Perfect information on your rotate.
And timing. They did that really like back to back. Not only did we see that with the ring console, but like you mentioned, the survey beacon right there too, just to make sure they could find some of these free buildings. Don't want to Hail Mary that when you jump on top of a team that's already taken the high ground of another building on Skyhook. We all know how that ends up, as Crazy Raccoon being one of the teams, considering the zone is pulling all the way over to that north side, away from the southeast side of their POI, having to take their time to rotate here. They've called in the evac tower, and you can see the pings coming down.
Yeah, again, they're able to hit that survey beacon, know exactly which buildings are free, and go for it. A lot of these buildings, of course, can house multiple teams. They're going to push into this diner that was left for free on the northeast side. Unlimit, by the way, this entire time, they have been getting knocks almost every single minute. And guess who it was? Yulari, man. No doubts about his performance throughout this split, why he is matching a player like Unlucky.
You know, I was talking about Yulari, man, and it's like the fact that he dropped, what, like over 4K damage game in the open in an actual stacked lobby. I think it was like winners round 2, and he had like 14 KP. My man literally just farmed a 4K badge in the middle of one of the stacked lobbies of that New Orleans Open, and looking to try to do it again here. As we take a look at Alliance, who've now made their way to Countdown, they're going to try to mirror that and gatekeep Team Liquid while still holding that southern side, the least contested side, with the rest of the lobby all combined together in Skyhook.
Yeah, so they kind of had that idea. There's that 5% chance that it pulls over to these buildings. We have certainly seen many endings here, but not with this particular circle. But again, we have the evac towers in play. We've got the rings, we've got the man scans in play along with the ring consoles. So they will have the opportunity to know which buildings are going to be free. Unfortunately for them, though, not much is being done in the way of whittling down of numbers. We're getting knocks here, of course, with the weapon meta that we have right now with the 30-30s and the G7 scouts in play. A lot of these teams are getting some cheeky knocks through windows, but it's not amounting to much. We have gotten, of course, everyone back into the lobby. So I'm trying to remember who Unlimit were able to get. I think it was a Shopify Rebellion player, right? MT. So they were able to get their third back in.
So I'll really get the care pack, by the way. And good call out from Alliance, who had made their way over to that south side when we saw that they were trying to gatekeep Team Liquid. The reason why they moved over to that north side of Countdown is that Hawkeyes is so good at making these calls, because I watched him in his own streams and how he approaches scrims. It's crazy. They're sitting on top of the Mythic bin, knowing that it was going to spawn on that north side of Countdown, denying that looting opportunity from Team Liquid, that are now feeling pressure, forced to wrap around the edge of zone, just so that way they could find some safety on where they're going to be moving on next. Because Jamerson, this zone is going to be shifting over to the mouth side of the Vault Tunnel Cave.
Yeah, they have a lot of options here, right? As soon as this ring finishes closing, they can just try and take an evac tower to go towards that vault tunnel and rotate into the southeast side of Skyhook, or they can do the Alliance special where they're running and gunning through all these teams and whittle out all the teams on the western edge. But that one's going to be a little bit difficult. We'll see what Hawkeyes decides once they get that scan, the survey beacon scan, to get a better lay of the land.
Calm before the storm. That's what happens when you have Skyhook zones like this. Always starting things off slowly. You could expect, what, maybe 17, 18 teams probably over by like end of ring 4 or so before everyone's forced to move away. Definitely once a lot of these teams see the next zone, if these teams have not been able to scan these circle beacons since they went in for an early rotate, they already know the chaos that's happening. That's why you have teams like 100 Thieves, VP, VK Gaming calling it out, being in one of these buildings in that next zone. It's going to be so chaotic here. You still see some of these raw knocks, but no one's ever going to push on this because, especially with the amount of altars and cryptos that you have in this lobby, too risky to give up that position. Just might as well just trade to boost up your own Evo.
Yeah, currently inside of Skyhook, we have 9 teams that are not inside the next zone.
Oh, ew.
Where it's going to be pulling, and about 8 that are. We do have a small engagement here. Team Liquid tried to make the rotate in from that Skyhook hill and got absolutely obliterated. S8 UL with the help of Fusion, picking up a lot of that. And Unlimit, they're not stopping here. They're continuing to get knocks throughout all of this. Rival Esports will be the next team to fall.
Man, that was a good example on the pressure, the aura that Alliance had mirroring Team Liquid on the middle of their rotate when they had obtained the Mythic bin. And instead of trying to take that fight and risking it, Team Liquid wanted to play safe, and they went for a very risky rotate, which put them in the position that we just saw right now, going right back to the lobby.
Now, my big question here is, Alliance, they are opting to try and go for that vault tunnel instead. Is how far can altars Q get you through these walls, or are they just going to tank the damage and get through? Again, they had the crypto. They could reach the survey beacon, so they would know how free it is, and it does look like they're going to work their way on over there. Of course, we have the poking battles going on. NRG are starting to make their moves right now, and we get a little bit of a replay here. Fusion just getting those nades in. Team Liquid get blown up, and like they were in full cover too.
Yeah, SA also had them in their line of sight. It was just not being safe. NRG do manage to take the middle console here too. after we just saw Unlimit there earlier on. Lots still more poking pressure from afar with these G7s, 30-30s, but NRG finding a great position currently right now down in the middle.
Yeah, a lot of our teams now utilizing as much as they can to get on in. Unlucky. Ends up getting knocked there as they try to approach from that south side. They should be able to get back with that ult or at least get the res. You can see RRX, BK, Twisted Minds, no one's really trying to chase after this one. So Alliance will be safe to play on the blue bins on the outside of this building, which puts them just outside of the next zone.
Don't you love the free resets that Alter could provide, even with the changes out here? I mean, it's absolutely insane. As we can see, a Legacy literally getting melted, the explosive arrow being the nail in the coffin. As Unlimit, we were talking about them earlier on being in that middle console, have moved all the way up. Love these nades too that we're already seeing in game number 1 as Sharky gets beat from the high ground, forced to play by the fence line, and it's still not safe when the explosive arrow is charged up.
Unlimit are doing an amazing job, and NRG will finish it to knock out S8UL. Ring closes in. We have about 3 teams stacked on top of this tower right now. It's going to be Unlimit, Shopify Rebellion, and of course NRG. But Shopify Rebellion are, of course, relegated to that low ground of this building with that initial pick that Unlimit were able to get with that Alter.
They already have 4 KP, by the way. Unlimit is just farming. They do have to move eventually. We know there's that 3-team pileup in that middle console. 4-team, honestly, SBI, NRG, Unlimit, and Shopify. Crypto EMP. XD taking a good amount of that damage, though, is going to be able to pop this bat just fine before trying to fly their way into this next building, trying to break down the walls here too, but then having to be careful. They're still in the line of sight of the teams looking at them neighboring that building.
Yeah, this is always the difficulty when you're trying to siege a building inside of Skyhook. You're going to have so many teams still alive that every second spent outside is an extremely difficult and risky proposition. So for now, things are going to settle down. It looks like we're left with 16 teams. Currently, we have about 10 teams outside of this zone. But for teams like Go Next, Rock, Shopify Rebellion, their building is actually slightly in, and so they will be able to continue to play it. But Unlimit, NRG, SBI, Crazy Raccoon, Gaming Gladiators, and EVOS need to find a way in.
It's going to be so hard when they're getting gate kept by 100 Thieves, too. They hear all the chaos happening next door with Shopify and Go Next. Rock could try to wrap around and maybe try to 3P this, but no matter what, the teams that are coming in from that east side of the zone are going to be kind of out in the open unless they can find that corner of safety inside these buildings. The Ash Portal, just a TP on the high ground. Not contested here. They had the information with the Crypto Drone to let them know that this is free.
Yeah, very great rotation coming out from Unlimit. That's going to leave NRG and SBI essentially, well, I guess just SBI winning out that fight to take them out. They'll be forced to hoof it, but they will have a decent amount of coverage to work with. You can see the fence line helping them out, but on the cross, never mind, a full team is outside. That's Crazy Raccoons to knock them out.
Unlimit in some trouble here too. While they're playing off the high ground, they were trying to take that fight over on that second floor right below them. Getting another knock here. The EMPs are too much. Alarm Man taking too much pressure from afar out in the open. There's not really cover to play off of. And the Alter Portals here too, just jumping up and down through these floors. Henchman trying to fully commit.
Yeah, they try to time it with the nade there. Won't be able to secure all the kills, but Go Next, hold the line for the time being, and now they will chase after them. Vaxlon has to reload, and he is taken out. Crazy Raccoon gone as well. We're now down to 11 squads.
Well, smart to play off of the Watson gen right there, just as some makeshift cover, but unfortunate timing on having to reload right there. Better yet, as Shopify are playing off that low ground, Go Next getting that KP, but they're getting beamed with a 30-30. A team looking at them from the rooftop. Could be either Alliance Fusion or Twisted Minds. VK Gaming also part of that pile-up too. As you can see, Fusion in this other floor. They're looking at them from the open door. And look at this Watson fences too. Picasso painting right here. Just beautiful. As you can see, they're going to hold not only this building, but the pings too in forms of communication to make sure they have a gen ready to go.
So for Fusion, they have to deal with Alliance, VK Gaming, Twisted Minds on this one. And the zone will force them out relatively early. Teams like VP and JD can wait out those teams in that building to drop down as the movement's being made. VK Gaming pushing out. Fusion trying to make his way on out. Alliance making their move to go for an out-of-bounds play for just a slight reprieve.
anything to waste some time here because they know it's going to be chaotic right at their feet as Twisted Minds, Alberlily, who got that care package earlier, having that red helmet. EMP just to start off this fight here for them. Enemy's gonna put down that gen. Gonna try to get the res here up on the high ground. Go next, get eliminated. Night Squad's left. This is a 5-6 team pileup in this building alone.
Twisted Minds trying to play gatekeepers with this Watson right now. Charging forward though, but Crook is forced to back off to heal up. Enemy though does not want to give them any kind of space, but the altar is making this battlefield extremely difficult to play off of right now. And he is forced to try and finish off this fence, but it's Alliance still alive. Effect playing off the knockdown shield here. He's not gonna have that much time. He's just trying his best to survive for as long as possible. They have hit top 5.
Meanwhile, 100 Thieves is seeing everything go down on the other side of that fence line. They're trying to go right there in the middle of the street. 3 squads left. VP, who come out on top from the west side, looking at Shopify Rebellion as 100 Thieves are trying to clear up their side. It's Shopify who are looking at VP. Everyone's so incredibly low. Slayer only using the knockdown for some cover, but we're nowhere to go. VP get eliminated, and 100 Thieves are the healthiest team right now as they try to wrap around the fence.
Verholt holds the angle, gets the knock. That's Kai, Zainu, and Koisful down. 100 Thieves bide their time and control that eastern edge of Skyhook to get the victory. And Phony, he is here to play, Vicky.
Real gamer hours for Phony coming straight out of surgery. This dude takes the first game. Are you kidding me? 100 Thieves already with the dub. You can't pop off too hard, Jamerson. You can't. If you're Phony, you're not. All right, calm and collected. My boy's got stitches, man.
He knows. He I can't pop my stitches right now. He's not popping off.
It's so hard to do. Like you have to keep yourself calm and collected. Like imagine how the comms are. Obviously, as the IGL, he can't be loud. He needs some help from his team too. So having to keep yourself calm and collected in some intense situations like that, it requires a lot of concentration.
By the way he did it. Up against Koiful and Zainu. This is some sweet medicine from Phony at the end, but 100 Thieves taking 13 kill points in that game. They get
Pro League that we saw VP get gifted like 4 or 5 rings. It was insane. Like the lottery at that point that week, but it hasn't really been that same RNG favoring them here as we get set up into our second game within our 10-match series, our second game on World's Edge, as well as our last game on World's Edge before we make our transition over to iiTzTimmy.
Yeah, for Alliance, they need to convert this one. Again, it was a first pick onto a 2-map set for themselves here on World's Edge. For 100 Thieves, picking up Climatizer was also a first-round pick for them, and they have already been able to bear the fruits of that one. We'll see if they can do it again. They have a lot of teams around them. Shopify Rebellion over at Survey Camp, Gaming Gladiators over at Epicenter, and VK Gaming at Overlook. The thing is, these teams do like to move a little bit earlier on. There's not going to be that much friction here on the northeast side as we get our first look at the ring.
Where we're moving to, where we're going. We take a look at where the zones pull in, maybe not so far from Skyhook, but still pull into that south side, right by Go Next, right by NRG, where they land over by Landslide. So they have that information already with that ring console here as they find their positioning. Fusion, SA as well. Great pull here, and you talk about Climatizer and our winners from game number 1, 100 Thieves. Of course, they could get an evac tower, try to rotate from that north side unless they want to take an early fight versus Shopify. There's a jump tower right there on the outskirts of that Evil Harvester, or if they want to backtrack a little bit, there's another jump tower closer to that replicator. Yeah,
for 100 Thieves, they have a lot of options, right? They've got multiple balloons. They can basically chain them. That's what World's Edge was built off of, to be able to do that. But it's S8UL currently moving now. With this ring in particular, this is the building I want to see get taken up. I am expecting this ring to pull basically between the train tracks, between Lava Fissure and Mirage Etoile, and just outside of this building. So S8UL have picked up an extremely strong building to play off of, especially with Watson still in play. And we have other teams moving in as well. S8UL, we had already mentioned. Fusion, now making their way on over to Mirage Etoile. We've got RRX, who of course do drop at Lava Fissure, are not going to play that priority, going to play more of that building towards the center of a lava fissure on the right-hand side. NRG making their way on in, and as well, Team Liquid taking their time over a tree. They just don't have the priority on this one.
Yeah, 2 zones pulling towards the opposite end of your POI. A little unfortunate, but of course you get to play objective. Liquid were able to pick up early KP, that 1 KP in that first game as it started, and they're going to be able to get that ring console. Don't think they had one over by launch site. They had that survey beacon, they had the evil harvester, so it works into this objective gameplay here. And if they wanted to, they could just wrap around from thermal station, they could wait on the edge of the next zone, then they could get the next ring console scan and take their time to figure out where they want to find themselves here, so that way they can have a better game this time around.
Yeah, if they make their way back into thermal station now, they will have that, like you had mentioned, man scan. And we got to see teams really utilize that during the Skyhook one, and I think the approach to this ring in particular will be very much the same. Right now, we have about half the lobby inside the next zone. We have a fight here, Evos versus Crazy Raccoon, already with the advantage over at Mod.
Evos getting there just as quickly, already getting that next knock. This is coming out of their POI of Dome, and just like that, they wipe the floor as Crazy Raccoon is eliminated. Great looks here for Evos, and uncontested, obviously. So many teams already quickly on their rotate. This is going to be a quick reset for them. They have all the loot that they need, as well as that ring console and survey beacon after they came out of Dome. And they wanted to do this too, because on their rotate, Dome does not have a ring console. There was one on the south side of Stacks, but then they just completely out-wrapped Crazy Raccoon there.
Yeah, Crazy Raccoon always have to be careful with these northern pools. Well, I guess not, right? Because this, this is the last World's Edge. But I mean, that was the biggest concern if you're going to be Crazy Raccoons. Whenever we do have all the teams drafting Big Mod, Stacks, and Dome, about the rotates from behind you. So you have to be able to move so much faster. To be caught like that is not something that should ever really happen with the experience that we have on World's Edge. GG getting stopped in their tracks as they're left on the northeast side of the next zone. They'll be able to pick up this Evo for themselves and play off of the tower for now. But it does seem like a lot of that eastern side is relatively free for themselves. Shopify Rebellion are standing in their way just outside of Countdown. So they got to be careful on this approach.
With Ashe being the most picked legend thus far in this second game, we won't be seeing Ashe anymore. Moving forward here, Fusion playing off his high ground as we get a quick pause, it looks like here, but talking specifically about this positioning from Fusion, they were looking down briefly. I'm expecting probably a team playing on the low ground of Mirage Etoile, JD Gaming, I believe it is. And as they do hold this positioning for right now, there is that survey beacon to their south side. They could deny that information from teams that also are forced to play objective, playing more so by the edge to get that information. Yeah,
that's a little bit interesting that they opt to go for that Mirage Etoile, because you also had staging kind of available, and staging did have a ring console still in play for the next zone. So teams could have actually used that as their stop-off points, but I think trying to get a little bit more priority onto the center of the next zone could be the gameplay here. I mean, for Fusion though, it might just be Kimchi Lee. I don't know. If we're talking about players, Kimchi Lee feels like one of the primest players that want to hang out in Mirage Etoile.
The fact that he also is feeling hot coming out from getting 4 KP in that first game alone. You get a little anxious sometimes here on wanting to continue the action. That was a quick pause for real. All right, Frame 1 getting right back into the game here, guys. Fusion still holding on to the higher ground. They are looking down on JD Gaming. Kind of forced out from JD Gaming. They did make their rotate from Thermal Station. They also had that ring console that we mentioned when Team Liquid was on their rotate, probably planning that out for their mapping. Or their pathing, rather. As Evos, we get to see a look at the replay. Missed a little bit of the beginning here before we saw the slide in, and it was a quick cleanup here from their end, the side-by-side, while the action has slowed down just a little bit live.
Yeah. And just a quick update, of course, Evos is Ronin for those that weren't kept abreast of all the org changes, I guess, leading up into this event. Ronin had a fantastic run there at the EMEA regional finals. There was so much drama for that finals leading into it. It came down so close to that last game.
I love it. I love being able to introduce like the legend bands here and how that's shaped things up, especially once we get into that match point finals territory here. But these legends are vying for in our second pools. You can see the pings right behind them, the snare on the other side. Ashe being utilized here majority of the time, so allowing a lot of these teams to close in that gap once they want to try to fully extend on another team.
Energy, we're able to get a knock onto a Go Next player. Go Next playing inside of Countdown right now. For Rock Esports currently, though, they are playing on that south side, holding that staging. They do have that ring console that they really do want to control. And I love how we slowly introduce more and more objectives here in Apex Legends, so that during the mid game we have a lot more to play around instead of just kind of holding in center zone in the building, right? And so Rock Esports are working their hardest to make sure that no team contests for it. But VP are here for Shopify Rebellion. They're making their way into Countdown right now. A knock onto Light. They want to follow up.
I'm gonna do this quickly too. Onto Blast. Gaming Gladiators now is forced to scramble. Looks like maybe a solo left as Go Next, neighboring that of Shopify, dropping down to get some loot. Of course, with no Alter in this lobby, you can't remotely grab that loot. That's what's so good about Alter in a skyhook zone like that, right? So you're not starved of loot. Not gonna be the case here, at least for Shopify, as they're gonna be able to get right back onto high ground here. They know that this is clear. You can see the crypto drone in the mini-map, just getting a nice overhead scan to make sure that there's nobody creeping up behind them.
And unfortunately for GG, they're playing the Sparrow, not the crypto, like the majority of the lobby is. So he's not going to have the same access to just fly in with the drone, get all that, and get out. And he's also running into Alliance there. For Rival Esports, though, they have slowly worked their way up the train tracks. This one is not going over towards Lava Fissure. It's a pull back into Landslide. So for all the teams that banked on it going over to Lava Fissure, they are going to have some of the most difficult rotates in NRG, gatekeep teams like S8UL, RRX in very strong power positions, because NRG will also have the backing of Go Next that's in the building to their north. So we have a spread of like 3 teams really keeping those teams out from the western side.
It's so hard to rotate too from that Lava Fissure side because it's out in the open, right? You have some rocks, you have those like 3 bins there too, but once you have to get right through the under part of the tracks and you're forced to play off that low ground there, you kind of could use the hill to get out of the line of sight of other teams. It's hard. You're gonna have multiple different angles that you're gonna have to cover for yourself, and depending on the legend compositions that you're rocking, yeah, we have that one catalyst, I believe, here in this lobby. You have the Ash here too to get out of trouble in case you only have one member of your team left, and it happens to be the Ash in that case. But it's difficult depending on what that composition is. Maybe the Newcastle that we see BKG that likes to rock.
Yeah, 100 Thieves right now fighting it out with VP. We saw them help take them out in 3rd place. They want to find a little bit more here. Slayer caught behind this bin. He's on that Watson, but 100 Thieves now caught up in the EMP, slowed down just a bit. Verholz throws down that mobile cover for themselves as VP are able to reestablish themselves, reset in this fight. The syringe down for Slayer. Zach gets that bat off in time, but Slayer takes enough damage as Jen Burton wants to chase after it.
Nice and steady here before they slide in. Zach trying to provide the cover fire, but point blank, they get the trade here. Lou being able to get that knock onto Jen. Phony now wrapping around the crates before sliding in with the Devo. That's all he needs. Nice jump with the double jump on the Sparrow, but it's a suppressed fire just so that way they can get the rest. That's the difference in the composition that we just saw right there with Jen now being able to get the reset on the medkit.
100 Thieves not slowing down, adding on another 3 KP to the 25 points they got in game number 1. Extremely strong win for them. Slow, methodical fight coming out from 100 Thieves. They're looking now to try and make this back-to-back, and they, honestly, with the position that they were able to win with that team fight up against VP, clearing out that south side, they have a huge opportunity. Now they have easy access into Landslide, will have a lot of cover to play off of as they make their way on in, and then have time to respond to that next ring pull.
They're feeling themselves. I mean, 3 KP already on the board. After coming out of that dub, coming in from that south side, after taking their time, they got in that ring console too, over by staging like you mentioned here. As Fusion still taking their time still on the top of Mirage Etoile. You can see the pings from afar because the crypto drone is scanning ahead just to help plan out their pathing. But it's going to be a big pileup over by that south side with a lot of teams maybe not wanting to overcommit over from the western side of that next circle pool. NRG are looking to gatekeep, and so is Go Next. And VK Gaming, with the composition that we mentioned, the Catalyst, the Newcastle, the Sparrow, they're settled in up on that high ground closer to that Mythic bin, and it's nade galore here, raining nades from every direction, not hitting anything, maybe hitting some ghosts here. Rival Esports up on the high ground are going to keep holding this position.
They're trying to turn the screws onto SBI, forcing out that Ash portal. Ooh. There's a knock onto Mike with the help from Twisted Minds, on the verge of getting knocked out here. We got Unlimited versus Alliance right now. Unlucky, down to 1 HP. It's Naoki in a 1v1, but does he have enough HP to stay alive? No, Hawkins is able to finish him off. Alliance stay alive for now, and the third party is not coming. It's just one member of Shopify Rebellion. Looking to see what's going on here, guys.
I'm a little nervous, that triple take from afar here. He still was able to survive getting out of their line of sight. It was Poipo who looked like he was able to get a care package, or maybe the Mythic bin that had spawned close by them. Or no, it was a care package rather, because he's got the red helmet. He's got that triple take too. Makes your eyes water. In effect, is going to be able to reset here, get the loot that they need with the rest of Alliance, and they'll be able to walk in from that north side.
We still do have the Mythic bin available there over at Landslide, but no team has been able to secure it. It's out there by the tower on the northern end, so can't really go out there. Shopify Rebellion have an angle on it. Twisted Minds. We know how Landslide plays out, and right now, 100 Thieves are having to deal with one of the issues of pulling out from that vault tunnel right now. Game and Gladiators, though, are trying their best to survive here, and 100 Thieves might be able to knock them out again.
Oh, the Twisted Minds mascot, by the way. Team Liquid coming alive behind a Newcastle wall, setting up with the Watson fences right behind them. They're desperate. They know they have to try to gatekeep this team right in front of them. Fusion get eliminated too. Team Liquid with some help from NRG. They pitch the team right in front of them. S8 get eliminated. RRX somehow as a solo, I believe, still alive here as Team Liquid now have to look behind them to prevent Rival Esports from walking up.
That was the big gatekeeping opportunity we were talking about for a lot of the teams coming from that western edge. Go Next, NRG, Team Liquid along with Rival Esports could have really held that down, but Rival Esports were of course a little bit more busy dealing with SBI behind them. But you can see now Team Liquid starting to make their way forward. It's NRG on the other side of this fight, and this is going to be a consequential one.
They got him. I was going to say, RX with that one solo that was still left jumped over Team Liquid's heads while they were trying to avoid getting pinched by NRG, and Team Liquid then were able to get that KP in their pocket with 13 squads left now. SBI Esports looking to gatekeep NRG over to the north side, having a stare down versus Team Liquid.
Yeah, NRG, no, this is our only fight that we have to worry about. Go Next are taking it to Shopify right now. Game and Gladiators, they've been sieged by 100 Thieves. Let's listen in to hear they handled this fight.
Knock up. How long does it go right here? I'm with you, man. I mean, I can't do anything, bro. I can TPS in 2%. Okay. Live. No knock for you. We're living. Kill toggle, take it. Is it on the platform at least? Yeah, it is. It is inside. Let's go. Go to the other side. Close back to me. Trying. I'm gonna get knocked. I can't. I don't know if you can res, bro. I'm not gonna. I'm lost. I'm in this corner. I can't go anywhere else. No knock. I'll come over in a second. No knock. No gen. Do you have gen? Okay. No. Not me. Oh, I don't have. No. It's fine. Band-aid. I can fend. It's fine. I can't crawl right now. With him.
I am at max.
Have heals? I only have 2 ranges. Fucking. It's all good. They cannot push us. They won't push us. No one can push us, bro. We're like in chilling here.
And 100 Thieves, they're not able to finish the job quite yet, but that does leave GG down as a duo. Didn't quite see if they had a mobile respawn beacon. They might have time to try and plug them all in as the teams now coming in with the zone. 100 Thieves were able to alleviate the pressure on the south. We got Rock Esports moving in from that southwest zone. Team Liquid in that race up against NRG, lost out on one.
I look like a chameleon right now. Getting all this information in front of us. Gaming Gladiators as that duo get eliminated. Shopify meets them back in the lobby. We saw this triple side-by-side with Team Liquid playing off that low ground, but it's SBI who are trying to gatekeep them originally, who are still holding on to the high ground. Team Liquid forced to play this out as a duo. They try to fully extend, though, sliding it together. Hawadis trying to clutch it out, though, taking way too much damage as this Newcastle gets the nice hits with the P20s. Oh, he was so close, but they give him a haircut just enough to finish off Team Liquid.
I still like Liquid going for that. 100 Thieves will get eliminated. Alliance take them out. They have cleared out the eastern edge of this zone. And now they have it all free to themselves. VK Gaming to the north as NRG are still dealing with that western edge, getting a knock onto one rival member, finishing him off as well, making it so much easier now to walk in, but they still have to deal with SBI Esports. Alliance now taking this high ground tower for themselves. Effect up top on this Ashe. Now we'll see if he can start getting some pressure on to, what was that, Twisted Minds. Baxlon though, pushing forward with Rock. It's SBI Esports trying their best to survive.
Rival Esports are trying to at least see if they can get that res going with that Moby being right in front of them, and they do. They do get the respawn here. 5 squads left. Rock Esports get eliminated here. VK Gaming on the outskirts of Rival Esports, while NRG are taking their time to rotate. They're trying to take a good amount of space with the Crypto Drone being able to scan ahead. They hear a fight going on though between Alliance and Twisted Minds. Enemy just trying to see if they can get the reset, but with a blue Evo Shield and a red Evo Shield on the other side of Alliance. I believe it's Effect that are right here. Yes, he throws out that Thermite. He's not going to put himself out in the open because NRG are waiting to pounce if they have the opportunity.
Yeah, we do have the drone out now for Hawkins, but he doesn't need it. Effect will finish off Twisted Mind, and now Alliance with 13 kill points, full control over the map. They were able to bounce back after game number 1, and they're on the verge of taking this.
It's the fact that Hawkins is always in that Crypto Drone and it's sending out his Pokemon, right? It's Effect and Unlucky just going out and doing what he's got to do best. Just a mob boss waiting out here in the shadows as they hold on to the high ground and top of that platform here too. NRG, who had heard that fight earlier though, are looking to see what's going on. The EMP, NRG, that's Hawkins giving that information. Look at these shots with the 30-30. Unlucky with 5 KP, 5 assists. Alliance are frying with 14 total KP.
Look at how they're doing it too. It's all Effect applying pressure on the ground, but Unlucky and Hawkins from up top. And so Effect is basically playing solo basically on the ground, and he doesn't care. He's able to get out with that Ashe. Fortunately, will be banned out after this game, but it looks like they got the value out of it. Now Hawkins with the Kraber in hand. He's got the team controlled here as they're going for that peek onto NRG.
He's got 2.8K. He's about to hit 3K damage. Effect, what did you eat today? Hawkins gets the follow-up of the Kraber shot. This is prime play right now. Just looking at the way Alliance is holding these different positions. You have Hawkins on the high ground with the Kraber. BKG playing inside that truck, but with Effect also playing on the outskirts together with Unlucky. It's putting enough pressure on the one team they're afraid of, which is NRG.
Yeah, they got the motherload down on top of NRG. Sykes is going to try his best to survive, but he cannot take a lick of damage there. Effect jumps in. Sykes gets the knock, and NRG might have slowed down Alliance enough. VK Gaming are now on the move for the third party.
They see the knock, and now VK Gaming trying to isolate the one member of Alliance that's held back. That was going to be Hawkins here. They fully dive onto him. They called him out, and now Alliance just down to a duel, and they're weak right now after they get the res.
Wall down there from their own Catalyst will slow them down just a bit, allowing Alliance to go for the reset. We've seen the 2v3s out from Alliance, but this time around, they don't have the eyes in the sky for themselves. VK Gaming take these a little bit too slow. There's the first knock, not quite yet from Effect.
Effect with the 9 KP, almost 4K, 3.5, and he is beaming right now with the R9. Gold extended mag here. He gets the next knock. He is jumping around. The Ashe dash is in the air, but it's a Newcastle that he's put up against as a Kraber shot is more than enough to finish off that knock. No playing around these knockdown shields, but he's looking to get aggressive.
Oh my god, QQ! What are you doing? He's come down to 1v1. That mobile shield making it extremely difficult, but Effect is jumping around like a spider monkey, and he doesn't know what to do. The shield swap isn't enough. Alliance secure the win once again. The 2v3 Demons. Alliance take game number 2.
Dude, 3.8K damage. Are you kidding me? Effect came out and chose violence. The Ashe dashes, the way he was moving, that was such a sick 1v1 off the crates there too, off the platform, off of being at a disadvantage, by the way. Lost on Hockeys, they still got the res. They were trying to get the reset. The catwall was brought in from BKG, and they still were able to clutch it up.
Now there's a lot to say, right, VK Gaming. There's a lot of different ways that they could have approached that fight. Are you trying to go for the Kraber plays? I get it. You're on one of the biggest stages here for Apex Legends, but you're up against Alliance. You cannot try and style on that.